All right, boys and girls, so today is day 155, if I had to take a good guess, which is crazy because we're almost at day 160, which would almost mark, not really to be honest, but would almost mark 5.5 months. It's crazy how half a month can go by. Anyways, the last business model I ever did before this whole thing was, I guess you could technically call it personal brand, like whatever you want to call it, like freelancing. But at the same time, like, I would really call it drop shipping. And at the time that I was drop shipping, I was like 14, 15. And I did that for a solid 3 months. I spent a lot of money. I was very invested. I learned a lot. And it taught me a lot. And I'm grateful for it. But it's still, regardless, 3 months. And I was approaching 3 months on this business journey. And I thought, wow, like, it's crazy that 3 months actually feels this long. And now I'm literally like closer to... I think technically I'm closer to 6 months than I am to 3 months, which is actually crazy. I never thought, like, wow. I mean, I always thought that I'd be there for like in total of 6 months, but like to say that I've been at this for 6 months, which I haven't been, I'm not able to say that yet, but to say that when I do get there, if I am not like rich and I got something going for me by then, it's gonna kind of be a little depressing. I'm not gonna lie. Now, I obviously do have a little bit of something going for me, you know, and nobody should expect to be rich after 6 months of doing online business. You know, people go to college for 4 years expecting to make, you know, $200,000 if they're lucky. So I'm not here to say like, you know, 6 months is the deadline, but I know a lot of people go pretty crazy within 6 months. So I don't know how to feel about it. It's a little depressing to make it that far and not have what I always wanted that soon. Especially because it just lets you know, like, if you're not here by this point and it's taking you 6 months to get to this point, like, you probably need to speed the process up or at least care about it a little bit more. Because before you know it, it's gonna be a year and you're not gonna have anything done. So it's all about efficiency and getting stuff done. But I guarantee you, if I had another 6 months to add on top of the 6 months I'm about to approach on, it would be over. Like the first like 2-3 months, I didn't even have the app up, and the third month, I didn't even know what to do marketing wise. I've been through like 3 or 4 different marketing strategies already. You know, so it's definitely a lot, and I've been through a lot of different things and a lot of different chapters in that 6 months in general. Anyways. Right now it's 4:30. We are supposed to be at Greensboro Coliseum at 6:30 to watch the Flatland Cavalry concert, which I just listened to their music last night and it was low-key buns, not gonna lie. It's a band and the guy has a little like soft, like gayish voice. So I can kind of understand why women like him. But, and I guess a lot of guys also like the music that they make. But at the same time, like, Flatland Cavalry is not, like, I know I'm not going to sit there and be, like, lip-singing every song. I'm just going to kind of be, like, evaluating who's where and what's happening and kind of get that type of a vibe while I'm there, which will still be fun because, you know, me and her, Maggie, me, we're dressing up, you know, we're going to a concert in the pit with 2 other people. Like, it's going to get your adrenaline up there a little bit, right? It's going to get you to understand, you know, like, hey, like, this is a time where I don't know what's going to happen next, and it's kind of fun, and I'm putting myself in this situation. And so, yeah, but at the same time, like I said, it's 4:30, so I only have 2 hours to be there, and I am fully, like, just dressed right now. I got a little, like, thing above my eyebrow that, like, you can tell it's kind of red, and it's like a bump. And it just hurts. Kind of been messing with it, just like, I don't know. But I think I just need to wait for it to go away, honestly. But it's kind of annoying because if I go to this concert without a hat or anything, like, that's gonna suck. Also, for whatever reason, I decided to give myself my own haircut last night, and I gave it when my hair was wet, so I had no idea how much hair I was really taking off. And I took out a chunk of hair on the back of this side, so now when I fluff the back out on this side and this side looks way different than that side. And for whatever reason, I also decided to cut the sides very short, so as you can see, it's all fresh black hair right here. And when I puff my hair out, I cut a little bit off the front too, so it's kind of like up here now, and it's just all around annoying. Like, I know my hair is going to grow fast, And I did want to cut off some of that white so I could get to the black a little bit sooner. But the way I did it was not efficient. So that's also annoying, and I might be wearing a hat the whole time. Also, we've had an issue with this couple we're going with in the past, as far as like just annoying, like not really liking the vibe. But overall, they're great people. You know, Kennedy's a great person. I know Nathaniel for like forever, and overall, like, he has pretty good morals, but sometimes he can be a little bit of an idiot and a douchebag and just annoying. And I don't really like to deal with that if I can help it. So yeah, but Kennedy is the one giving us these tickets to this concert, and they're pit tickets, and so, you know, obviously Maggie wants to go, and it's not a terrible idea, so I guess we're going. But I told him, like, hey, I don't want to, like, meet up with them before. I just want to go there with them. And she didn't tell them that until, like, literally today, and she hasn't even told them yet. And so it's, like, literally 2 hours until we're there, and she hasn't told them that we're not going to meet up with them first. And so, like, to tell them that we're not going to meet up with them, but we're also going to take your pit tickets to go watch this concert, like, that's kind of a little bit douchey, you know what I'm saying? So Maggie was, like, kind of convinced me, like, hey, yeah, no, we're actually going to be meeting up with them before anyways. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to, so you got to meet me in the middle, compromise a little bit. Like, what are we going to do when we get there? What type of idea, what type of place, you know, what type of vibe? You have to stay out of these situations, those, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I didn't discuss this with her, like, a big conversation, but I just told her, like, hey, you know where I'm at with it. Don't make me upset. So, yeah. And she just went, I just dropped her off. This morning we went to the NC State tour, and that was pretty good, honestly. I will say, like, I didn't really necessarily enjoy it, and I don't know if it was necessarily productive of my time, but I will think that it will shape my future enough to determine a big decision. Honestly, when I showed up there, before I started, like, seeing the campus and was involved in the tour, I was telling Maggie, like, hey, why don't you just, like, go out to BYU and just come with me there? Like, why don't you just come to me as the man? You know what I'm saying? Because technically, that's technically reasonable, but with everything in hand, like, it's not technically reasonable. Anyways, I'm gonna go upstairs real quick. Hold on. So, yeah, but anyways, I started touring the campus, and Maggie actually really liked it. Considering she has, like, a 4.6 unweighted GPA and everything, and, like, you know, she's very smart, and she has a lot of opportunity with what college she applies to, and she's choosing to, you know, possibly go to a school like NC State is happy for me, because that means we can be together. Also, in general, the campus is really big. They give you $1,000 in food credits to spend throughout the whole year. You know, they have a lot of campuses. They have like 7 soccer fields, 12 basketball courts. I don't know how many baseball fields. I don't know how many else, but it's a lot, okay? And they have a huge gym. I think they have the busiest Chick-fil-A in the world. They have a Chipotle. Like, it's pretty busy, and that's pretty good. But at the same time, like, I don't want to be going to a college where, like, the 2 places I eat food most are, like, stacked. You know what I'm saying? So I guess I gotta choose my time wisely with these things. But other than that, like, it has everything I need. You know what I'm saying? And there's nothing outside of Raleigh that I think that I would, like, escape from or need a car for. So, like, I don't really see the point in, like, driving my car when I have one much. And also, first year college students have to go inside of dorms. They can't sleep off campus. And with dorms, you either get put in a dorm room where, you know, it's you and a random roommate for a whole year with, like, the middle of the floor, like, bathroom. And, or it's like you know the roommate kind of, and you have a little bit of lobby room space, and you have a little bathroom to you guys' self. And that's a little bit better, but it's like kind of given at random, even though it's probably not really. So if I can find somebody to room with, because I don't know if they let us room with girls, but if I can find somebody to room with for that first year and tell them, like, hey, like, let's just try to get in the actual dorm together, not even in, like, single dorm rooms, and, like, that'd be great. So yeah, but anyways, I think I would really be considering going to NC State, especially if she's going. Not just because she's going. I mean, I feel like I could go to any college and be good with it. And I honestly prefer an out-of-state college just because it helps me mentally with where I'm at and to progress in life sooner than being, like, that close to home. And just the weather's better. The community's kind of better. It turns me into more of a man being around an engineering school too. So there's an element of me that still wants to kind of go to BYUI, you know, around people like Noah and, you know, around like healthy, like-minded individuals for the most part. But then again, like the cold weather and the way the semesters are set up, it just seems a little bit depressing. And if you don't really have friends, or you're not a super aggressive, outgoing person, you're not going to be very happy there. And so I think I'd personally be more comfortable at NC State, even though my parents live like 45 minutes away from BYUI, and that's where all of them went. I definitely could see myself doing like one semester or even 2 semesters at BYUI first and then moving to NC State, just to try to like transfer in when I don't have the obligation of like having to go in a dorm like I don't want to. But at the same time, like that could decrease my overall chances of going, not even in terms of like percentage rates of acceptance, but in terms of like, do I want to, you know? So I think it might be better to just start off going there regardless of like where I'm put, dorms or anything. It's only a semester or 2 and I think I'll be fine. So, but yeah, let's get dressed for this concert. So Flatland Cavalry, I don't really know what to wear. I'm supposed to pick her up here pretty soon. So honestly, I'm going to end this. I'm going to take a dookie and then I'm actually going to get ready and I'll let you guys know what happens whenever I pick up the phone next. So yeah. All right, bros. I think this is the second or third clip of today. Not totally sure. It's probably the second clip if I had to give a guess, but it's currently 12:30 right now. And I don't remember exactly where I was before the last clip. I think that I was like coming home. Oh yeah, and I was getting dressed for the concert. Okay, so this is the outfit I wore. White shirt, got the sunglasses, got this hat, got these like light jeans, and then just normal regular boots. And it looked really good. You know, I'm really tall with the boots and just taller than most people in general. I mean, I'm only 6 foot without boots on, but like, you know, that makes up for, I don't even know, technically like 6'2", 6'3" when I do have boots on. So it's, oh my gosh, these guys in front of me are just jamming to some terrible music. Anyways, though, I pulled up and my girlfriend and my friend's girlfriend were in the bathroom, and me and him were just standing outside of it, just like kind of waiting. And this blonde girl came up and she was like, "What's your name?" And I was like, "You talking to me? I have a girlfriend." And I said that because I knew that that's what I would have wanted Maggie to say in that situation. And I could have said something like that, but obviously, you know, even her just asking my name, that like, you know, like she was trying to hit on me a little bit. And then I said, I have a girlfriend. And then she immediately went to Nathaniel. And I said, he's also got a girlfriend. And then both of our girlfriends literally just walked out of the bathroom. So like, yeah, that was the situation. And anyways, we went to Max Speed Shop, this like little place. We got some good food there, like $30-$40 of food. And then we went to the actual concert. I drove with them because for whatever reason, I don't even know why, to be honest, but we drove with them. And it was a decent concert. The people that I was there with were good. And the overall like experience of everything was pretty decent. But I mean, like, I don't even know, like, the people there, for whatever reason, I always get sat next to somebody that's like basically drunk. And it was happened to be somewhat Nathaniel's cousin. But anyways, it was just a weird deal. It was a good concert, although the music kind of sucked. And, you know, always standing on your feet for 2.5 hours in one spot is kind of boring and hurts. So there's that. But other than that, it was pretty good. I also bought Maggie, my girlfriend, a hat that cost like $40. And I got drinks for pretty much everybody while I was there too. And that was like $16-$20. And so I did spend a little bit of money today. I also didn't do anything on the creator program today since I woke up NC State, boom, watered flowers, got dressed, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, but anyways, my girlfriend, as we got home, my dad had said way earlier in the morning about going to this neighbor of mine's. He's a way old neighbor, 2 girls around me and Knox's age, my brother. And we used to play on the tramp with them at a very young age all the time. And I'm probably going to have to get my food here in a second, so I'll probably pause this and pay for it. Actually, no, I already paid for it, so I'll be good. But yeah, my dad said, oh, her graduation party's coming up. Like, are you going to go? And I was like, oh, maybe. And randomly, when I went to go, like, just show Maggie my old house where I used to live here the night, like, it was probably honestly like an hour ago. She was like, yeah, actually, I don't want you to go to that. And I was like, okay, well, that's a little bit forward. It's a little bit controlling, you know. She's like, oh, you don't even really know these people that well, like, whatever, it's a grad party. And I'm like, well, you go to grad parties all the time, and I don't really have necessarily the best feeling about it. But, like, you know, now that the roles are reversed and switched on you, now you have something to say about it, and now you sound a little bit controlling. And for whatever reason, she's like the controlling police. She hates when I tell her something that she doesn't want to hear about, like, anything that could sound controlling when I'm not being controlling. And she just hates it. So any point in time I ever say that or mention anything like that, she just shuts down. And the reason why that happens is because she doesn't really have anything that I can be controlling for, because I'm online and she's actually going to school. So it's kind of like vice versa opposites. Anyways, bye. All right, guys. So yeah, anyways, she was telling me about how, I don't even know what to think, honestly. That Chick-fil-A that Taco Bell doesn't look that clean, but it's also very small and open. So, I mean, technically it would feel like at least they're doing their job somewhat correctly. So hopefully my food's good. But he said they didn't have any more Baja Blasts, which really sucks. And I was like, okay, fine, can I have a Diet Pepsi? So he made me my Diet Pepsi. And there's a cop rolling right by me. And I really hope that... And he turned right, and he's literally making a U-turn. What the freak? What the? Okay, so this light just turned red, but he took a right onto this street, right? And then he took a U-turn, and then he took another right. So he basically just went straight. And the light was green. So I don't know what to think about it, but I'm going to drive very slow because now I'm encroaching or approaching on him being the cop car. Hopefully I don't record myself getting pulled over. I look-y want to take the interstate just so I could be over there, but honestly I think I might get in this lane. Dude, this is sketchy. He's braking. Bro. I don't even know. I don't know. Like, is it weird if I get behind him? Like, I think it's honestly, it might be more weird if I stay behind him than if I, like, pull ahead of him still doing the speed limit. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what to think, but he's braking now. What the freak? And he just did a U-turn illegally. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Okay, well, we're good. But anyways, yeah, she was telling me how grad parties shouldn't like it, and she doesn't like when I tell her things that can come off a little bit controlling when they're definitely not. I make sure to very hard draw the line between what's controlling and what's not. But anyways, she really hates everything that I kind of put restrictions on her. And you need to realize when you're in a relationship, it's not independent. You're not independent. You can't just go be free, independent person when you're in a relationship. You have expectations. There's boundaries you can't cross. And if you cross them, which you can, and there's boundaries and expectations and standards that you can break and cross, because you are a free person at the end of the day. But if you do that, you are putting yourself in the position to be broken up with in the relationship. And that's not controlling. So anyways, I have those standards. They're not anything crazy. And if they were anything crazy, she can just break up with me. Now, I've never done anything crazy, ever. And I definitely am not going to. I'm not going to abuse that power. But look, basically, I just kind of brought that conversation up to her, and she was feeling a certain way about it. She was like, but, you know, I don't want to feel like I'm insecure. I don't want to feel like I'm any bit of controlling. You know, I don't want to feel like I'm, basically what she's trying to, like, almost say, or at least how it came off to me, is like, I don't want to be any percent of you in this regard in our relationship. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. Like, if you don't want to do that, don't do that. But, like, we brought up the example of our social media followings. And, you know, being that I was across the country from her freshman year, and being that, you know, we were 14, 15 years old at the time, and being that, you know, there's so many kids from her school that I know and other kids that are seeing her posts that she's posting on Instagram and her stories and just have access to that. Like, I don't necessarily like that, you know what I'm saying? And so I was like, hey, like, I think it's a little bit weird, and I feel a little bit uncomfortable that you know, you're following all these guys. And, you know, there was never a strict rule like, oh, you can't follow this guy and this guy, but you can follow all the other guys. It was just easier to say none of them. So right now, I do not pretty much follow a single girl that I am not related to. And Maggie does not follow a single boy that she's not related to. So that's kind of just how it is in a relationship, and that's how it's been. But she said, she brought up the idea of like, oh, but like you can follow her if you want to. This is the grad party girl that we were bringing up. You can follow her if you really want to, and you can go if you really want to. And I said, no, I'm not going to go because I respect you. And if you have any ounce of discomfort for me going, then I'm not going to, because that's what I would want from you as well. And I know you didn't ask for me to do this necessarily, but I'm going to do it out of respect. And same thing with the following. Whether I want to follow her or not and keep up with where school she's going to, where she's at, and whatever else, I'm not going to do that because I have respect for you. And she, you know, expects the same out of me. When I say, hey, I don't want you to be following a whole bunch of guys on Instagram, you know, a couple years ago when I said that, she says, okay, well then I don't want you to be following any girls on Instagram. That she's just like a double standard, just what she's treating it, right? And so, I guess I just let it slide, but like what I was saying is like, I don't want you to restrict me from the thing I'm restricting you from just because I'm restricting it from you, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want you to say, hey, I also don't want you to do this, and only saying that just because I'm not comfortable with you doing it. You know what I'm saying? So like if I tell you like, hey, son, you can't have a piece of candy, and you know, the son comes to me and says, well, then you also can't have a piece of candy. And I say, well, no, it's bad for you because you have good, healthy, you know, adult teeth, and I have dentures. And he's like, well, I just don't want you to have candy because you told me you can't have candy. That's not fair. You know, if my reason for you not having candy is because you have perfectly good new adult teeth that you don't want to get cavities and ruin, then that's reasonable. But you can't come to me and tell me, hey, this guy's approaching fasting month 57. Look at that. He thought he was cool. And now he's breaking. Anyways, so yeah, is he gonna turn right now? Oh my gosh, I think he is. He won't. Oh shoot, I'm gonna race this guy. I'm not gonna race him, but he's gonna be going fast. I don't know. Okay, I'm low-key like on this guy's tail right now. He's just randomly braking. But we're going like 65 and a 50. Anyways, so yeah, she was talking about that, and she used the example of like, oh, well, like I don't even care who you follow, but because you want to restrict my following, I'm going to restrict your following. And I said, that's not okay. It's one or the other. You either care about who I follow or you don't. And if you don't, then just say that and allow me to follow whoever I want to follow. But that doesn't make sure that doesn't mean that. What the freak? It says Brock Wooden is calling me. Okay, well, okay, gosh, I'm trying to explain this to you guys, but I just got a call from this guy named Brock Wooden, and apparently he like sold his BMW that he used to drive for a F-150, and it has a tune on it, but he was flying past me on 220, and I was like, oh shoot, like it's an F-150, and it sounds kind of good, and he's turning onto Scalesville, the road that I'm turning onto, and so I was like, oh shoot, let me catch up to this guy, and as you guys know, I was doing 65 and a 50 just behind him, and bro, he called me on Scalesville and he was like, yo, is that you? And I was like, no way. And it was him. And I was like, didn't you drive a BMW? He's like, nah, I'm going to my dad's office up in Reedsville and I actually drive a truck. And I was like, whoa, dang, that's cool. And he called me and I just thought that was funny. But anyways, that's like a cool experience. I don't know. But I told him, I was like, yeah, this guy's going fast. Let me catch up to that guy. And so he laughed. But anyways, so yeah, gosh, there's like cats and everything in our driveway right now. And it's like way later than I should be home. Like it's literally 1 a.m. right now and I'm pulling into the driveway. Anyways though, so gosh, full idea here. So I'm listening to Jason Aldean all day right now. But basically what happened is I woke up, me and my dad drove our car to my girlfriend's house, picked her up. We went from my girlfriend's house to NC State. We had a tour that was about 2 hours long at NC State, 30 minutes of talking, an hour and 30 minutes of walking. It was a good tour. The campus is huge, like 7 baseball fields, 7 soccer fields, 12 basketball courts, like crazy. The biggest gym in all of colleges, the busiest Chick-fil-A in the world. At least they said in the nation, which I'm assuming is probably in the world, but I don't know why they wouldn't say the world if it wasn't the world. But anyways, then we went to Chipotle after the NC State tour, and then we drove all the way back to my house. I did not drop her off at her house yet. She just came back with me. We took a nap because we were tired. The nap was like 2 hours long. We woke up, it was like 3 p.m., 4 p.m., and I drove her back to her house. When I drove her back to her house, I dropped her off so she could get ready. Then I drove back to my house so I could get ready. And then I picked her up on my way back to her house. So we were both ready. And we drove to her grandparents' house so that we could both water her grandparents' plants and feed her grandparents' cats because they're out of town. And we were supposed to do that earlier, but we didn't have enough time, so we had to do it on the way. So we go there, we water the plants, everything. Then Nathaniel calls me out of nowhere. I haven't called this kid and talked to this kid in like a couple months now. And he calls me and he says, yo, we're going to Max Speed Shop, this food place. So I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to be there in like 20 minutes, but we might be 10 minutes late. And he's like, all right, that's fine. We're not even 20 minutes. We haven't even left and we're 20 minutes away. And I was like, all right, sounds good. So we met them there. They were there first, obviously. And we got food. We said what's up. And I showed him what's up with my boat and everything else. He talked to me about, oh, he's selling his hats and whatever. I was going to mention the app, but I did not. I think I kind of kept that behind me a little bit. Also, my app currently has 42 5-star reviews. It has a 4.7 review rating. And I also looked at the ratings today and somebody rated my app a 1-star review. For whatever reason. Somebody rated a 1-star review. That's just terrible. Like, I guess you could say like, oh, I'm asking you to give a review like at the end of a questionnaire. Like, come on, I'm going to rate that a 1-star. But I guarantee you the person that rated it a 1-star just rated it a 1-star because they were a competitor with me. So I might have to do all the rest to everybody else, honestly. But anyways, that's kind of petty. So yeah, anyways, we left Max Speed Shop in one car, Nathaniel's car. They just wanted us to go, and also I have a box in the back, so I can't take anybody in my truck. We got there, they paid for parking, we went in. It was a smaller venue than I was expecting. We, like I told you guys, we're there at the concert for basically like 2 hours, and it was all right. And then we came home. Before we came home, I was passing my old house, and I was like, hey, we should go look at my old house. And my girlfriend was like, all right, sounds good. We talked about Blythe, the girl that I used to be neighbors with, and that she's having a graduation party. My dad mentioned it when we were on the drive to NC State, and she said, hey, I don't want you to go to that thing I don't want you to go to her graduation party. And I was like, okay, for you telling me that I'm controlling sometimes, and for you telling me that I'm the one doing all this all the time, you just told me something pretty controlling in my mind. And I'm like, hey, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to do what you do to me. I'm going to be respectful about it. I'm going to tell you, hey, I respect that. I respect you. I'm not gonna go. As much as I can help it, I'm not gonna go. And she was like, well, if you actually want to go to that grad party really bad, you can go. And if you actually want to follow her on Instagram, you can follow her. And I was like, hey, out of genuine respect for you, I'm not gonna do either, because we don't do that. And also, I already told you about why we don't follow boys and why we don't follow girls as the opposite gender or whatever. It was a long time ago, and it's just simpler and easier that way. And by the time that we're married, I expect both of us to not even have social media, let alone follow anybody or have anybody follow us. So, it's whatever. Social media really ruins relationships, and I kind of want Instagram out of my girlfriend's life right now because of how obsessed she is and how much time it takes out of her own life right now. But anyways, I finally ended up putting my foot down a couple days ago and today regarding me being in charge of our relationship. Today, I just spent, $100 on her, between food, between buying her that hat at the concert, between buying drinks for everybody, between driving her around, everything that I did for her today. I told her, hey, you can be the one in charge, or we can have an equal say in what goes on in this relationship if you're the one that's doing all this, but I'm the one that's doing all this. And she finally came to the realization, okay, Porter is in charge. But the way that I came across in saying that to her was a little bit blunt, but she had a really big attitude to me, so I wasn't going to come across super nice and sweet when she was being all that. And she was trying to come at me for saying, okay, well, regardless of whether you're right or wrong, I want you to just come with me in respect. And I said, well, what the heck am I supposed to do when you start here with attitude and I come here and you're telling me that I need to start having respect, even though I'm the one that was right to begin with? Doesn't make sense, but that's women for you. So I ended up starting to put my foot down, and that conversation ended like that. We're on the drive home, turned up the music, rolled on the window. She kept trying to mute it, and I was like, what's up? Like, just tell me. I'm not going to hear anything. It's not going to matter to me, but I'm going to listen to you out of respect. So she told me what she wanted to tell me for her emotions. I didn't basically listen to any of it. And I told her what I told her, and I was making everything clear, valid, straight to the point. And I told her, hey, what I want you to do is I want you to write a 2-paragraph essay on paper, on Google Docs, on Word, whatever you want to do. Just write a 2-paragraph essay. Should be like 2/3 of a page on why I am the one in charge in this relationship. And I know it's a little bit out of there, but she needs to realize that what she tried to embark on me for was wrong. The biggest issue with the whole following Instagram thing was I was like, hey, you can't say, I already told you guys this, but you can't say that, you don't want me to follow like a certain group of people just because I expect you not to do that. If I'm uncomfortable with you doing something and I tell you that, and I don't want you to do it anymore and you stop doing it, you can't expect me to start doing that just because I told you I was uncomfortable about it. You can only expect me to stop doing that if you're also uncomfortable about the same exact topic. But you cannot expect me to stop doing what I'm expecting you to stop doing just because I'm expecting you to stop doing it. That's kind of toxic. So I explained that to her, and I explained it to her. There's only one or two ways. You can't tell me that just because I want you to stop and you stopped, that I need to stop also. You can call it hypocrisy, you can call it whatever you want to call it, but it's really not that if you get into the grand scheme and the detail of things. I think that if it is what you want to call a hypocrite, you want to call me a hypocrite for saying that or doing that, then whoever's on the other end of that line telling you or me, or for anybody for that matter, that because one person expects something out of them because of the uncomfortability, and the other person expects it out of just pure, I don't care about it, I just want you to do the same thing if you're going to expect me to do it, that's also toxic. So pick your poison. But I don't think that that expecting something out of somebody because I'm uncomfortable about it, and them not being uncomfortable about it, and them not doing it, is hypocrisy. Double standard, hypocrisy, whatever I call it, I don't think it's true if you get into the detail of it. Anyways, I dropped her off. She's supposed to be writing that paper. She realized that I was right, but she just told me, like I told you guys, that she doesn't want me to come across emotionally hurting. So yeah, anyways, I got myself a Taco Bell because Taco Bell is literally the only place that's open past midnight that serves okay food, and they're not that far away. But Taco Bell is also the most nastiest, disgustingest, terrible employees place in the world, and their food is so processed. But I've realized that a lot of food is processed. I don't know how much this food is processed compared to that food. I think that's why I'm now starting to eat Taco Bell again. Also, I paid $6.50 for this meal, and I'm getting over 1,500 calories. Unfortunately,
I'm getting a Diet Pepsi instead of a Baja Blast, but that's not the end of the world. Again, I paid $6.50 for this meal. So, yeah. Also, tomorrow is Friday. I don't have anything to do to my knowledge. I don't think I really have anything to do, honestly, until the 23rd. And ever since, I don't even know when Noah got here, but ever since pretty much the beginning of June, which now it's, June 4th? I have not got a break with this. And I'm getting my first pretty much full day of break, as long as I don't see my girlfriend tomorrow on Friday, especially considering I don't have any work and the rest of my family doesn't have anything to do either. It makes sense. Now, before I actually start doing all the work, what I expect myself to do is send 50 DMs. I'm not going to make myself do that for sure, okay? But I will say this right now. I need to do a whole bunch of work on the creator program. I have a whole bunch of like payment processing, DMs, a whole bunch of just, I need to work on it, right? It's going to be more money than I'm going to have to spend. I understand it. It sucks. But it's the truth. So I'm going to have to do that, right? And my goal is to get all of the stuff done for that, and is to find the exact perfect DM that I'm going to send, so that if I don't send any DMs tomorrow, I can be fully set to send DMs on Saturday. Also, if not anything tomorrow, I want myself to be making drafts tonight before I go to bed for tomorrow, so that when I wake up before 1 p.m. that I can post my first video at 1, my second video at 5, and my third video at 8 on my own, so that I can get views and traffic to my app regardless and start the process back up again. Because I have a product that's a digital product with almost 100% margins, and it's an amazing product. It's a subscription purchasing thing, and it's an app. So the chances that somebody's going to be like, oh, $34 a year, that's not that bad, boom. Versus saying, hey, buy this software for $10, nobody's going to want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So an app makes it so much more credible. But we have a 10% conversion rate. So for every 1 out of 10 people that join the app, one person has an average value of $30. I think per download, I have about $2 per download. So if I have 20 downloads, I technically am making $20. If I have 100 downloads, I'm technically making $200. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, we're still at like the 2.6K mark. I think, I don't even know what we were making this month or even this week right now. Probably not very much anymore. But we were making 1.5K. And I think like $600 or $700 a week. Now we probably make like $200 a week. And we're probably back on track because like $500 to $1,000 a month. But anyways, by the end of this week, man, we're going to have DMs sent. We're going to have a new program that works great. We're going to have manifestation by our side. We're going to send hundreds of DMs, and we will have videos going up every single day at certain times promoting the app. And things will be rolling again. The ball will be rolling again. So yeah, anyways, what I'm going to do is, I think I made one video yesterday and then this video today. I see you're out in the truck. A couple of things Dad and I are not too happy about. Great. So I guess I'm gonna have to talk to them about it. I could have been home by 12, but I had to get Taco Bell. And I also guess didn't tell them that I was even going to a concert, so that probably sucks. I'll probably not even see Maggie tomorrow because of that. But that'll kind of be good on my side because it'll give me time to work. But regardless, it's not exactly the best idea. Anyways, I'm screwed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to go make the drafts for today, talk to my girlfriend today, and maybe talk to my parents if they're inside. But I think I have yesterday to clip together on CapCut and today to clip together on CapCut. I have this Taco Bell that I'm gonna take with me. So I'm gonna grab the Taco Bell, I'm gonna grab my phone, I'm gonna go inside. I have this Liquid Death and this Pepsi behind me, but I'm not taking those in right now. I'm gonna just roll with it. So I'll see you guys later, if not tomorrow. Peace out.